Shalom, shalom, everyone. Hello to all of you. Are you all staying warm? 8-degree temperatures? Look, that's just not for me. So hopefully you all were able to stay warm during the last couple days. It's been interesting out there, you all. So welcome and thanks for joining me for another live session. Welcome to all of you. Thank you to our moderators. Shalom to you as well. Look, we have several of you joining us tonight. Let's say hello to some folks. Ra'al Israel. Hello, Brother Harold. There you go. Hello, Brother Clifford Virgil. Optimal Training. We have Joyce McKelvey. You're in Tanzania? Oh, my word. 3:30 in the morning, sister. Look, thanks for joining us. Hello there, Brother Calvin. Who else do we have? Portia, Michael, how are you doing? Let's see. Shalom, Naturally Reborn. Hebrews are coming. There you go. Paid Star. Hello and welcome to you. Hello, Yvonne. Vicky, Victorious Spirit. That's what I'm talking about. Lisa, Miss Love, Stacy. All right. Avi. Nika, how are you? Hi, Angela, Cecilia, Paul, Chine. I think I always mess up your name. I want to say Chine. Daughter of the Blessed. Hello there, Brother Robert, William, Devora. Daughter of, I called yours, BR. All right, family. So we have several of you tuning in tonight for this session. Again, welcome to all of you. So we are talking about the first Exodus. We are remembering the first Exodus and those called to lead in Israel specifically. So let me know, are you getting anything out of this session? Because I know it has been blessing me just going over this information again, reminding myself of what I thought I knew, just rereading the stories and learning some things from what our ancestors went through the first time. Is this blessing you? Let's see. So let's see. Catching you for the first time. Let's see, I missed that. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am, William. Good. Good. I love hearing that. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Absolutely. Devora, Saul. Good. Praises to Yah, because I'm telling you all, as I'm reading through this, our ancestors went through something. Look, we're going to have to compare stories when it's all said and done. They get to relive it, and we get to tell them what we went through. It's a blessing that we're still here, that there's still a remnant left in the earth. And that's all praises to Abba Yah, because we know if the powers that be had their way, none of us would be would be here. Got my tongue twisted there for a second. So let's do a quick recap, and then we're going to get started on this session. Just a quick recap. In the last session, the session that I uploaded on Sunday, I talked about Moses's call and how his time on the backside of the desert served as the training ground for him. He was being molded into the leader Yah would use to lead his people out of Israel. So there are many lessons he learned there. Number one, While he was there, he was learning the lay of the land. Did you think about that? As a shepherd following the flocks through the Sinai desert and around Mount Horeb, he became very well acquainted with the area. He began to know a little bit about the weather conditions. Think about how helpful that would be. How to survive in desert like conditions. All of those things you don't tend to think about until you have to do it. He was also learning how to serve and how to care for sheep. So, things he learned prepared him for his assignment. He was learning how to lead Yah's sheep, his people. But notice that this was happening in an obscure place. Do you know that a lot of the hardships we experienced in the lands where we are scattered are also preparing us for some things? We're going to talk about that tonight because I want to make sure you see the connection here. Let's look at this from Isaiah 14:2. Then people will take them, talking about us, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel will possess them for servants, talking about the Gentiles. We're going to possess the Gentiles for as servants and maids when we get back into our land. They will take them captive whose captives they were, and listen to this, don't miss this, and rule over their oppressors. Now stop and think about that for a second, because this lets us know that all of our pain and suffering, it's not in vain. We've been put between this rock and a hard place as a people for a reason. There were lessons to be learned from our time of captivity. How well you learn, I should say, the lessons now is going to determine how well you rule later. Let me say that again in case you missed it. How well you learn the lessons now will determine how well you rule later. Whether you're serving in an office or governing your household of servants. So be willing to learn the lessons that Yah is teaching us in the land of our captivity. This is all serving a purpose, you all, just like it did with Moses. It's serving a purpose, just like it did with Joseph during his time of captivity. It's leading to something. Let's go on. All right. So I talked about leaders, saying that leaders know the way. And I explained that that no one can really take away what you know. The things that we're learning now in this captivity, no one can take that experience away from us. So the same with leaders. Leaders know the way. And when you know it, you know it. So you're not moved by any and everything. You're firmly rooted and grounded. And it was obvious that Moses got some practical knowledge on survival in the wilderness, as we said, but he was also being shaped into the leader the Most High needed him to be. He was developing that heart of a shepherd. Then I said, leaders go the way. They lead. As you begin walking based on the vision you were given, others begin to follow. At this point, you're an example. And most importantly, you can't lead anyone until you learn to lead yourself. Listen carefully to what I'm going to say. That means you have to learn self-control. When you can control yourself, your emotions, those things that cause you to just go off, lose your ever-loving mind, it's telling you that you're not ready for leadership. You can't be running around, falling apart when things don't go your way. That's like a good example would be a baby in diapers making a mess and then having someone come in to clean it up. So you have to exercise self control. You have to learn how to control your emotions. And y'all knows we've gone through enough in this nation where we should have lost our minds. Most people would think, we have every good reason to lose our minds. But no, he's developing us. He's doing something in us. Leaders also show the way. Now, this is when you're at the point of showing and teaching others. You can show them the way because you know what to do and you're doing it. You've been there. So you have those experiences. So that's just some of the things we talked about as we've been going through this session. Now I want to continue. The other thing that leaders have to be aware of is that when you go because you believe you have been sent, you need to make sure that your message is sure. If you're at the level where you're leading others, teaching others, showing them the way, you need to make sure you know that you have a word from the Most High. You know that it's coming from the Father. And that's why you're not so easily moved when people come against you. So when you open your mouth, the message you were sent to deliver will come out, even under pressure. Go back and read what Saul was saying versus what David said when Israel faced Goliath. Look at what Aaron said to the people versus what Moses said to the people when they wanted to sin against the Most High. Out of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So you need to know what Yah has given you to say and say what you are told to say. You're not out doing your own thing. And when you don't take the time to make your call and election sure, you're going to be tempted, excuse me, to go out there and give a word that did not come from him. And that's because some are diviners, as in, we have some folks out there using divination, like Balaam. Balaam could see, but his heart was not right. And that's where the gift of discernment comes in, particularly in these last days. We see a lot of things happening, and folks are saying, they're hearing from Yah that they have a word from the Most High. You have to be able to hear and discern rightly, because as I said, we have some folks out there operating in a spirit of divination, and we don't want to be following them and then be led astray. So before you say you have a message for the nation, be sure, because that word may have come from Yah also, but it may have been for you. So let's say it's not divination and you did hear from him. Is he telling you to tell this to the nation, or is he giving you a word? He's wanting you to know a certain thing. So let's see what some of you are commenting on, because we have a lot to cover tonight. I want to make sure we get this information, family, because we cannot afford to be led astray in this hour. And we know that deception is the enemy's number one tool. He deceives, he lies, and you don't want to be following lies. Cecilia said, yes, I was always wary of those who said they always heard from God when I was in churchianity. You have to know, because we know that we have been led astray, right? Elephant Man, great point. Hello to you, brother. Hope all is well with you. Praises to Yah for you and the work that you're doing. Sister Cece, peace and blessings. She's welcoming a lot of folks. Hello to you, Sister Cece. Inspired identity, spirit of discernment is so crucial. It most certainly is. In this day and hour, it is extremely, extremely important. So we have to know what's coming across the pike, what folks are saying. We need to sit down and evaluate that thing to make sure that it is coming from the Most High. Thank you, Sheethla. Sheethla. Thank you for the gift. Many blessings to you for that. Harold says he's working on his patience. Yes, that's a good one to work on for all of us, for sure. We need to know that we are hearing what Yah has said. So, like I said, discernment is key. The other thing, when we say that Yah has said it, then say it like he told you. Because as I said, the enemy takes delight in deceiving and causing confusion. And this is where you have to take your emotions out of it. You're not saying things to get back at somebody, to throw off on somebody, if you all know what I mean. So only say what you're given to say. You want to make the message sure, because you don't want to be speaking the words of the enemy. And then we have some out there who are parroting. What do I mean by parroting? Some are simply regurgitating things they hear others say. They're not really waiting to receive a word from the Most High for Israel. And listen to what I'm going to say here. You have to know if that word is coming from the Most High before you say this message is for Israel. You have to also know, did Yah say this to you for you? But also, if you're just parroting what other people are saying, don't give the impression that he spoke this word to you. It's the same with visions and dreams. If you receive a vision and a dream, ask the Most High what he wants you to do with it. Again, it should come from him first. But just know that everything you hear is not for the masses, because the enemy he's enjoying the confusion, in other words. And a lot of what the Most High says to you during your time of prayer and study, I'm telling you, it's for you. It may be that he will have you to deliver it at a later time. So not only are you waiting for him to send you, you also wait for him to let you know when to say or do certain things. Jerome is saying they are operating in the flesh. And as I go on to this, you're going to see why I'm saying all of this up front. It's going to make sense to you as I go along, family. So again, pray for discernment so that you know it resonates in your spirit, that it's a confirmation for you that this came from the Most High. It's going to be vitally important as the days get darker and darker in this place. You're going to know that you know that you know that you heard from the Most High. So beware of those who are saying just to be saying, those who are saying they're parroting because they're visiting other channels or listen to what others are saying, and then they're just regurgitating that information out and then presenting it as though it came from them, versus you actually heard and the Most High is giving you a message to deliver to his people. So yes, it's going to be important in these last days, and we cannot allow ourselves to be deceived. Let's keep going. So some lessons learned in the hard place. We made some comparisons with Moses and David. Both of them were shepherds, if you remember, and both of them learned lessons in hard places. And David in Psalms, he reflected on his battles. He talked about when he had to fight the lion and the bear. Where did that happen? Before he became king, you all, before he was anointed. So these experiences that he had prepared him for the fight he would have later on with Goliath. These things were making him ready. They helped to set the foundation. And as Israelites, we will be able to reflect on our battle scars when we rule over the Gentiles. I'm telling you, this is where this is leading to. So make sure you're listening as I go through this. We can also add Joseph to this list. Joseph's training ground was extremely painful, personal in a way. If you think about the lessons he had to learn after his brothers sold him into slavery, just think about what that had to be like for him. What else did he learn in prison? I mean, wrongfully convicted. Yet he walked uprightly before Yah in the face of severe humiliation. He kept doing the right thing even when it was hard. Again, being between that rock and a hard place. Like us, he couldn't deliver himself. He had to wait for the fullness of time to be delivered, just like us. But what was Yah doing? Preparing him for his assignment. So I invite you to do a study on Moses, David, and Joseph, and you'll see a lot of similarities there. So the lessons we can learn from our forefathers are designed to make us wiser. And we certainly need wisdom in these last days. We are currently stuck between a rock and a hard place. Just think about that. When he said no one is going to redeem you, as in no one is going to deliver you, he meant it. He is the only one who can deliver us from this place. So, as I said in the beginning, the suffering is not in vain, though, because the Most High is preparing us for greater things. Whether or not you see it right now, He's working even when we don't know what He's doing. So you have to understand what's happening. The seed is planted. Then it goes into an obscure place, a dark place. It's in the dirt where no one else can see what's happening. Things are happening that's causing that seed to break free of that hull, that hard shell. And that's what pressure is doing. It's not going to feel good, I can tell you that. Yes, it's going to hurt sometimes. But will you stay there long enough for Yah to finish his work? Because if you remain in that dark place where you're being pressed on, you have pressure coming from every side. When you make your appearance, others see the sprouts, and then they see your tree and then your fruit. And you'll hear people say things like, "Oh, you just make this look so easy." And that's why many think they can just run out there and do it too, because they don't see what you went through. They didn't see that. They didn't see you on the backside of the desert. They see a king, never knowing that you were hiding out in a cave. And there were days when you didn't even know where your next meal would come from. They see you second in command in the most powerful nation in the world, not knowing what life was like for you in prison. But Yah was working in you and preparing you so that he could work through you later on. Now, these are points, things that I'm saying. I'm hoping that you will take some notes about these things because, as I said, the Most High is preparing us to rule. Miss D, are you hearing me? Yah is preparing you to rule, even if it's ruling those maids you're going to have. He's preparing you for what's coming. All of the pain and suffering is not in vain. But will you be ready? Will you be ready? So let's go on with this, and then we can talk about this as I wrap it up. Did Israel know that the Most High was making or building a nation and an army when they were going through all that pain and suffering? Do you think that even resonated with them? Probably not. Do you think they knew he was developing leaders as he was building this nation and an army? Now, I want you to think about this. When they were in Egypt, Egypt was very powerful at that time, extremely powerful. And they thought they had absolute control over the people of the Most High. Who was going to be big enough and bad enough to just come in there and defend these Israelites, these slaves, as they were called? Who was going to come in there and defend them? But when the Most High brought them out, the people didn't even have to lift a finger, you all. Even though the Most High was building his army and his nation there, he fought. So that tells us, look at where we are in the beast, the belly of the beast. Who has come to our rescue in the 400 plus years? No one dared to say anything. Some nations are starting to do that now, but 400 years, these people treated us like we were their pink-headed stepchild. Like we were worse than pets. And these other nations sat on the sideline and said nothing, and they did nothing. No one came to our rescue. They watched the atrocities. It's not like they didn't know. They knew. They knew. Why would Japan all of a sudden say, hey, it's time for you to pay them. You need to pay reparations. They knew all along how we were treated here. But think about the army they had here. Think about their level of control around the world. So that's why we see these judgments beginning to happen. And some of us are still sighing and wondering, when is this going to be over, Most High? When he gets finished with his judgment. That's when. When he's done. When he brings them to their knees. So just know that the Most High is doing some things behind the scenes that we don't necessarily see right now. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. I want to look at this passage from Exodus 6:26. These are the same, talking about Aaron and Moses, to whom the Most High said, bring out the children of Israel from the land of Egypt according to their armies. Did you catch that? He called them an army before they knew they were an army. Speak those things that are not as though they were. When they looked at themselves, they saw slaves. When they looked at themselves and compared themselves to the giants, they saw themselves as grasshoppers. But the Most High saw a nation. He saw an army. So their oppression was preparing them for something else. what do you think he's doing with ours? Just think about that. What do you think Abba Yah is doing behind the scenes? Harold says when he's attacked, he's learning to hold his tongue until he's led to speak. There you go. Because you want to have the right words. There you go. You want to know what you should say. Yes. Hallelujah on that one. We can all learn that lesson. Let's see. Sarah says they were abusing the Israelites in their own countries. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you, Cody, for the gift. Many blessings to you. Thank you. All right. Sister Josephine, you all, we were doing a test message. I'm just going to deviate a little with Minister Tayu. We were doing the test for the prayer of repentance that we have coming up on the 31st. And it was just a test. So, the messages were going out as we were talking to each other. And Josephine thought the enemy was messing around. Oh my, you all. She started going in. She started rebuking devils. I'm like, this sister is serious. So just know that was just a test. If you sat in on that, and we'll do another one tomorrow night. We just want to make sure everything is working properly. But she says, I know you're telling the truth. I don't want to disappoint Yahusha, not grieve his Holy Spirit anymore. No, and none of us should want to do that. None of us. Natural Nisha, humbling and preparing us for his return. That's exactly what he's doing in us. Obadiah, preparing us for his battle, that no man shall conquer us. I know you're right. Yes, yes, yes. Hallelujah for that as well. He is preparing us. He is. Just know that he's doing something behind the scenes, family. I know it's hurt. I know you're ready to get out of here, but he's not finished. When he's done, just know that we won't be here a second longer than we need to be. He says he brought them out according to their armies. They saw themselves as slaves, but the Most High saw an army. So let's go on. So this is coming from Exodus 6:6-8. And he's telling Moses what to say to our forefathers, making sure they knew that he was the Most High who was going to bring them out, or who brings them out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. Listen to what he says. I will rescue you from their bondage. And what else? I will redeem you. You're going to be paid back, family. Don't worry about that. I will redeem you. Look up redeem and see what it means. A lot of things come with that redemption. With an outstretched arm and with great judgments. Great judgments. He says he's going to take us as his people. He was telling them, I will take you as my people. He's going to be their Most High. You will know that I am your Most High, who brings you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. The same thing is going to happen with us. Then he says, I will bring you into the land that I swore to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you as a heritage. This is the same thing that's coming for us. So when you sigh, when you mourn, when you grieve, it's like, I just can't deal with these folks another day. Just know that he's doing something. He's bringing about some things in us. So just don't give up. Don't give up. Their day of reckoning is coming. So I want to look at this. I want to read this from Hosea 1:10-11. It says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And it shall come to pass in the place where it was said to them, You are not my people, there it shall be said to them." Where? In the place where it was said to them, "You are not my people." There, in that same place, it will be said to them, "You are the sons of Yah." Then something happens. Then the children of Judah and the children of Israel shall be gathered together. They're going to be gathered together, and something happens. And appoint for themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great will be the day of Jezreel. Did you hear what I just said to you? They've been saying you Negroes are not sons of the Most High, not you black folks. What's going to happen in that place? They'll be forced to acknowledge that we are the children of Israel, that we are his chosen people. It's going to happen in that place. Then it says we will be gathered and do what, family? Appoint for ourselves one head. Here is what you're going to see happening as we go on. You're going to see a funneling effect. That's the best way I can think of to describe it. Right now, there are many voices being heard to spread the word about who we are, to help our people wake up, know who we are. And it's needed right now because we're scattered all over the place. And so is our message. But gradually, as we begin unifying under the banner of being one nation under Yah, you're going to see that we will begin to move toward one concise message. It says they will appoint for themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land. You're going to see that happening, family. So that's why this lesson, as we're remembering the first Exodus, is so important. And what we're understanding about leadership is also important because our ancestors made a lot of mistakes, but we can learn from those mistakes. We don't have to repeat them. All right, let's keep going. So, this is why we have to understand what to look for in leaders so that we won't make the same mistakes. Korah or Moses, Saul or David. And this, we have to pray, as I said, for discernment so that we don't fall into the same predicament. When our ancestors followed the wrong leaders, they were led right over a cliff. Go back and see how many people died because they chose to follow Korah. Wrong leader. Korah led a rebellion against Moses, and he caused many of our ancestors to die in the wilderness. Saul, he had the right look, but he didn't have the right heart. You don't want to follow those who will lead you off a cliff. We should know what to look for. We begin by looking for those with the right heart, the heart of a shepherd. And this is the season right now for us to begin praying for the leaders Yah is raising up in these last days. Don't just pray for him to raise up leaders. Pray for him to raise up the right leaders, and pray that you will be able to get behind the one Yah has sent. Again, you don't want to be following a Korah because he's saying all of the right things. He got a message, but it didn't come from the Most High. So where did that message come from then? We have to be wise, family, and learn from what our ancestors went through. I'm not trying to follow Korah, have the earth open up and swallow me. I don't think so. No, no. Yes, Miss D, we have to pray for discernment. We have to pray. So you have to start now. Don't wait. Don't wait. Inspired Identity says, repeat that again. Yes, pray for Yah's leaders. Danielle says, we have to be wise. So true. So true. Obadiah, the awakening has begun. So be sure to choose your leaders wisely. Inquire and pray that you are not deceived. Yes. Yes. Calvin says, I'll pass on that. Are you talking about going over the cliff, Calvin? Going, no, I'm not trying to do that. Not trying to do that. Nicole, the double portion of discernment daily. Yes. Vicky says Korah will put you in the danger zone. And you all, when you read his story, thousands died. That's a lot of people. Too many. One too many. You have to be able to discern rightly. This one is coming from Yah. This word is resonating in my spirit. I have that confirmation that this word is coming from Yah because, as I said to you, there are folks who are hearing some things. Some are operating in a spirit of divination. Others are parroting. And you're thinking that they're leading you somewhere, but they have not gotten a message to lead you anywhere. And you find yourself over the edge of a cliff. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. So let's keep going. All right. So I want to look at this. This is from Exodus 18:24 through 25. This is when the children of Israel were now out in the desert. They had left Egypt, and Moses' leadership role had been fully established at this point. And he was judging the people, and it was overwhelming him. He had I think he may have learned a lesson when, Aaron stepped in, as I talked about in that last session, and we know that that was not his assignment. So I believe Moses did learn from that as well. So he was just trying to do it all, and it was just wearing on him. So his father-in-law came and talked to him about this because he saw that it was just too much. And it says, so Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. I want to spend some time here because Moses had obviously received a lot of advice from his father-in-law over the years, and he trusted his counsel. It says he did all that he said. This man wasn't an Israelite. But there are just some things that go with being a leader, some things that transcend being an Israelite. When you're leading, whether it's on your job, in ministry, in your home, what have you, there are just some things, some foundational things that you need to know. So it's obviously he had learned to heed or listen to the voice of his father-in-law over the years. And it said he did all that he said. What can we learn from this? A lot of our people have a hard time hearing others. They are not teachable and won't allow others to help them maximize their gift. Now, for some, that's going to hit you upside your head. You need to be asking, is this me? Are you teachable? How can you know if you're teachable? Think back to see how you responded to teachers, mentors, leaders you've had before. Were you trying to challenge them on everything? Did you have the mindset that you could do it better, say it better? Did you stay long enough to get the lesson you were supposed to learn? We have some who hop from ministry to ministry, assembly to assembly, and they have a hard time staying in one place. Let someone say something you don't like or something you don't agree with, and you're out of there. Did you stop to ask the Most High if He wanted you to leave? Or were you acting on your emotions? This goes back to what I said earlier. You have to learn to exercise self-control. You are not going to agree on every single point. You don't agree with your spouse on every single thing. Do you walk out and get a divorce? So if you believe the Most High has placed you with a group, don't leave unless He tells you to. And I'm not talking about situations where the leader is clearly, not walking uprightly before the Most High. They're doing things that, are ungodly, as some would say, etc. I'm not talking about that because we're never supposed to come into agreement with wickedness. Read the story about Ananias and Sapphira. She made the wrong choice. Yes, he was her husband, but she should have never come into an agreement to lie. She should not have done that. The point I'm making here is that when Moses was sent to lead our forefathers out of Israel, he was released from the service he provided to his father-in-law. He left with the right spirit. Obviously so. If his father-in-law is coming to check on him out in the desert, so he was released from that service. So he was already serving somewhere first. I wanted to take my time on that, family, because a lot of our people have a hard time with this. You are not teachable. You are a know-it-all. And you don't stay anywhere long enough to get to draw from that gift that the person that the Most High placed you under. You just hop from place to place to place. That is not good. It's not good. So I hope I said that in a way that you can receive it. But stop and pray about that. Ask the Most High to let you know if you're teachable, because too many of us are not. Now let's look at verse 25. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. The apostles did the same thing in the book of Acts. Now, this is the funneling effect that I was talking about earlier. They couldn't all handle 1,000 people. So do you see the order here? And here's where we run into problems. You were placed over 10, but you think you should be over 50 because Brother Joe is leading 50. Brother Timothy is leading 1,000. So this is where the competition and the jockeying for positions bring about confusion in the nation. You can barely handle 10, but now you want to lead 50. You are the be all and the end all. The best thing that you can do, family, if you were placed over 10, do an excellent job with 10. Serve well with 10. Be faithful there. Be loyal and committed first. Grow where you have been planted first. Let your yes be yes. If you say you're going to do something, be faithful to your word until the job is done. Because leaders recognize excellence. You continue serving until you get what was deposited in that leader for you. Just think, if they can see your faithfulness, your dedication, your loyalty, you better know that Yah sees it too. So you keep serving in excellence, and it won't be long before you're moved from 10 to 50, or based on how well you serve, you may jump from 10 to 1,000. So think about what I'm saying here. Don't jump from one thing to the next things and leave things undone that you committed to. Do it the right way. Because if you don't, you'll be leaving a lot of dead bodies behind you. When you're flowing in your gift, it will make room for you. But it usually begins in a small place, out of the limelight, to give you a chance to grow and develop. It's in the small place that you see things that you didn't know was there, the good and the bad. Just think about where Moses was when he turned the rod, when the rod turned into a serpent. He was in the desert. No one saw him running from that snake. Most of us would have too. But look, the only one who saw that was the Most High. So his mess ups were there on the backside of the desert. The gift, though, was being developed in him before he got into the limelight. So don't despise the day of small beginnings. It's there that you learn how to grow from faith to faith. Master each level first before you desire to go to the next one. Because I can promise you, new level, new devil. And if you have not grown in those foundational things, it can take you out. Ask Saul. Let's look at the next verse. So they judge the people at all times, these leaders that were appointed. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. So we see a group of faithful men here. But not only that, they knew what they were supposed to do. They knew what they could handle. They didn't try to walk in Moses' shoes. Learn this lesson. Properly placed people prevent problems. I'll say that again. Properly placed people prevent problems. In other words, know how to stay in your lane. All right, let's see what some of you are talking about, because I know I covered quite a bit there. I know. Mr. The Original School. As an old adage saying goes, your word is your bond, and you are only as good as your word. Say that again, Mr. Original. Say that again. We have people out here committing to folks. Yeah, I want to be a part of this group. Yeah, I want to do this. Yeah, I want to do this. Yeah, add me to this. And 3 months later, where are you? You said you wanted to be a part of this. You said Yah sent you. But after 3 months, you got it all together and now you're ready to lead 1,000. Family, I'm telling you, you have to get this lesson because of what he's preparing you for, to rule, to judge. And if you don't get this here, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to put that out there. Get the lesson. That's all. You need to get this lesson. Get the lesson. I want all of us to be ready for what the Most High is bringing us into. You don't want to have him put something in your hand and then you allow someone to take what you have, what he blessed you with, what is for you, what is for your family. Read the story about Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth. He lost what David blessed him with. He didn't know how to hold on to it. But if you don't get these foundational things right, then you're not going to be very successful. The Most High has those around us who have served in excellence. They have been leading in excellence. And you see that light, and then you want to be joined to it. So you attach yourself to it. But 6 months later, you're gone. A year later, you're gone. You're fickled. You jump from thing to thing, from place to place. You won't stay there long enough. Scripture says to know them that labor among you. You don't stay there long enough for that leader to help you develop that gift. And oftentimes, the Most High will give them insight so that they see those gifts in you before you see it. When we receive applications in our organization, when we're ready to hire folks, one of the first things that I look at, work history. When I get this application, even though you may have the skills, the talents, but I see you are at this place 6 months, a year here, 2 years here, 3 years here. You jump from place to place to place. I am not going to invest a lot of time in you unless, and there have been situations where the person, because of job status, like military families, that they are in those situations where they have to move. They're transferred to other places. But leaders take note of that. I am not going to invest a lot in you. You're also telling me when you're that person, I don't know that I can trust you. You said Yah sent you. 3 months later, we can't find you. You took on certain duties and responsibilities, and you just walked off and left it for someone else to do. Who really sent you? All right, we're moving on. I think I proved my point on that one. Let's keep going. All right, so let's listen to this from 1 Corinthians 6:2. Do you not know that the saints, and when you see saints in the scripture, it's talking about you, called out assembly, you all will be judging the world. And if the world shall be judged by you, I want you to go back and read the rest of that scripture. Because what I want to add to the ... this is telling you, you will have some significant responsibilities when the Most High place us in this position of rulership, leadership. That's right, Rainy Pal. Oh, you got that right. An unstable man is unstable in all his ways. And I guarantee you, if you look at your history, just look back, think back 10 years, you have seen that you have been jumping from thing to thing, group to group. This, you wanted to do this, you've been doing that. You have not been stable, and that will manifest across many areas, many things, many things. Oh, so Diamond Love says, the young people brag about not staying at a job for long. They say it's not like the old days. You all, and that is true. I listened to my husband. Oh my gosh. We were talking about that early this morning. He deals with the same thing. One guy, I guess he wanted, now he had already gotten days off for the holiday. And the day that he was supposed to come in, he was calling in. And my husband was like, you either be here when you're supposed to be here or you just don't come back at all. He said the guy was there 20 minutes later. I'm telling you, I don't know what is happening. And I can't say for all because I've had some really good folks young. I think this is taught early. And parents, your young people, this is something that you can teach your children early. When they sign up for like sports or what have you, and after 3 months, well, I don't want to do that anymore. Oh, no. We have invested in you participating in that sport. You're going to finish this year at least. And then at the end of this year, you can choose something else, but you're not going to be quitting in mid-season. Suck it up and deal with it. Unless, of course, something, bad is going on, being mistreated or something of that sort. But you need to teach this to your children early. You don't get to quit just because somebody said something you don't like or because you're tired now. You finish what you started. When can you stop? When the job's done. Trust me when I say the Most High is watching these things. We tend to over spiritualize things, but He's watching how you work on your job. Whether you're the one getting there late, always calling out, you can't finish anything you started. You have an excuse for everything. Learn how to serve well. Stay in a place long enough so that those leaders can help you develop the gift that's in you. He does not take you from leading 0 to 1,000. You don't have the foundation. Trust me when I say this, family. This is going to help you later on. Be teachable. Be teachable. All right. I know I covered a lot, so let me just see what you all are saying. I wish I was taught this early. Yeah, wait. A lot of us, we needed this. We needed this. Definitely. Miss D, absolutely. And want a promotion. I know that's right. Like I've been working here a year. It's time for me to get a promotion. But you're calling out every other week. Look. No. Josephine, that was me with jobs and my place of residence. Captain job cap. A place over my head, but I was always moving from job. And trust me, it does not look well on the resume. That's one of the first things that I look for. Can you be committed? Can you stay here long enough for me to, because I invest in the people who work with me or the people who are in ministry with me. I said this during our prayer call. A lot of the folks who have been ministering with me have been there like 10 years, 6 years, 7 years. That's saying something. That is saying something, you all. Chine says, why do some men think, oh, well, I don't know. Some of that they got from home. They have not really studied Deborah's story because not only was she a prophetess, she was a judge in Israel. And I heard a pastor actually talking about this, just very dismissive of her role. Basically saying, she was just sitting under a tree somewhere and that's all she was doing. No, family. Go back and read that story for yourself. The Most High can use the sons and daughters of Zion. All right, so Juanita, yes, I tell my daughter patience, practice, and perseverance teaches the discipline needed in life. Absolutely. Teach them while they're young. Don't let them quit and go from thing to thing, place to place. It creates instability, and you don't want that for your children. But just know that Yah is also watching. Remember when he said Moses was faithful in all his house? That means he was paying attention to how well Moses served. He was paying attention. I can look back now and remember those teachers and mentors that I have, pastors, a lot of the pastors I've had, some of the things that they taught, those things are still with me. Some of the teachers, some of the mentors, men and women, all of them were not, easygoing. No, some of them were like, by the book, we're doing this. When it got hard, it's like, I need to finish what I started. I gave my word. I gave my word. Your word should mean something. Let your yes be yes. If you say you're going to be there, be there. All right. All right, let's see what else. The Israelites are the saints. Absolutely. Dakota Sheen. We are that. We are that. Pamela. The race is not given to the swift. Say that, sister. No to the fast. But unto him who endures until the end. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be able to endure because he's watching. And as this tunneling effect continues, we're ultimately going to narrow it down to one voice. We have to know how to be led. And a lot of us struggle with that. We have to know how to be led. Maria says, this generation has been over-mothered. Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of that. Yes, I agree. Miss D says, don't let your kids complain a lot. Yes. No, don't be raising a lot of wimps. That's right. Brew Queen says, when there is no commandment, it follows into adulthood. Yes. Plus the kingdom, it involves spiritually unstableness. Yes. Jerome, he called Abraham righteous because he kept the laws. Absolutely. Black beauty, like how you spell that. Do you belong to a church? Okay, it's referring to someone else. Comment, I assume. B. Smith, this journey we on ain't for the weak. You got that right. No, it's not. No, it's not. Wade, yes, I do. Let's see what else we got. Did I miss any? Okay. All right. We're going to go on so that we can wrap up here. I have some reminders. We have our Hebrew Israelite Global Day of Repentance. coming up on the 31st, Saturday, Shabbat, at 7 p.m. Central, so 8 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that. There'll be several of us engaging in that with Teo Ministries. So mark your calendars for that. You'll see some announcements go out from various channels. We'll be streaming from several channels. So we'd love for you to join us for that at 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And also, I wanted to put this out there. I think this ties in beautifully to what Moray Dwayne is doing. For those of you who are subscribed to Hebrew Connect, he has been putting out some messages of those who are looking for ways to serve in Israel. You have a desire to serve. Start connecting and serving. So if you go to Hebrew Connect, I believe you can just email him and let him know. And we're also putting together a questionnaire just to get some basic information, what your skill sets are, have you served in leadership, etc. What can you offer to the nation of Israel as we move forward? So if you're not connected to him there, Hebrew Connect, be sure to do that. Send him an email. I will also be sending out something to those who are on our Gates of Huldah email list, the questionnaire for those who may be interested in serving. I have several projects that our team will need some assistance with. So be looking for that, either through Gates of Huldah or with Hebrew Connect and Moray Dwayne. You can tell when I've been going about an hour. You always like, okay, it's bedtime. But yeah, those are ways that you can connect and serve. So I'm going to start wrapping up here. I hope that you got something from this. The bottom line is we all need to know how to submit to one another. We need to know how to identify the gifts in us, the gifts that Yah has placed in us, and the gifts he's placed in others. Because we have some people going before they're sent or operating in areas that's, anyway, for example, if you look at it this way, all are not seers. All are not called to the office of prophet or teacher. Those seem to be the ones getting the most attention these days. But all of the gifts are very important. And if you're supposed to be hands and you're trying to be the ears, then something is not getting done because your hands are supposed to be doing it. But you're trying to serve in another area where he did not place you. So this is what I say when I say make your call and election sure, because when you're out of place, it creates confusion. Properly placed people prevent problems. Okay, so that's what I'm saying with that. So spend some time waiting in his presence so that he can reveal these things that he's placed in you. Because as time goes on, family, here's why this is important. As we get closer and closer to that time for us to get out of here, notice that the Most High was speaking through one voice. Well, it ended up being two, but he was speaking to Moses, and Moses would put those words in Aaron's mouth. I said this, it was actually that video that I did on Kyrie. We have to learn the power of one. That's how the Most High operates. He likes order. Order. Even if you think of your household, in our house, my husband has the last say. I can be as gifted as I think I want to be. But at the end of the day, he is the head of this house. Even for me to go on a fast, dear, is it okay with you if I fast next week for 3, 4 days, etc.? We have to learn Yah's order. And most of us have a hard time with that. We want to run out and serve and get under that light, and it wipes you out. It knocks you flat on your face because you have not learned those foundational things. Order. So as we near this time for us to get out of here, if you have not learned how to connect and serve and be rooted and planted, when he starts speaking, you're going to follow Korah. You're going to follow Korah. The Most High may be moving the nation in one direction and you all are going somewhere else. You're following someone who's telling you to leave your family, pick up everything, and move to South Africa. And that is not the way the Most High is directing everyone else. I'm just using that as an example. Okay? So just know that. And that's why I'm telling you this. And also, if you can't lead now, how are you going to reign later? So you have to learn the lessons now. Learn the lessons now. All right. I think I covered everything I wanted to say. A few more comments, and then we're going to wrap this up. BR, excellent lesson, point, submission, and order. And we all have to learn it. We all have to learn it, family. Yes. Mr. Zone. All right, Mr. Zone. Simple yet deep discussion. I pray that it is a blessing for you all, that you did get something from this. Yes, Miss D says strong-headed women start praying now. I know that's right. Look, I mean, you got folks out here listening to people just telling them, leave your family and go move to this place and the other. Look, you all, it's discernment. You need discernment. You need discernment. Oh my gosh. Wesley, television. No time to talk to Allah. You want war. That is all I need to do. All right. Oh, Yah is faithful. He is faithful. I thank him. I thank him. I thank him. Chosen by Yah, this message convicted me big time because of the great need as a nurse. If trouble comes, it is easy to move on to less stress. Don't go until you are sure that he says to leave. Look, assemblies, groups, churches, whatever, when you commit your hand to do something, you stay there until you finish what you're supposed to finish, or he says it's time for you to go. DMAC, as vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes is a lazy man to those who sent him. I know that's right. I know that's right. I know. All right. So let's see. Appreciate. Okay. Line Angel, appreciate your teaching so clear and understandable. Praises to Yah for that. Praises to him. All right. So we are going to wrap up there, family. 9:19. Stay warm. The sister tuning in from Tanzania. Oh my. That's some dedication right there. 3 something in the morning. Woo-wee. But praises to Yah for you. Many blessings to you and your family, and for all of you and your commitment to join us on these lives, for your feedback, for your words of encouragement. Thank you to all of you who do that, for your prayers. You don't know how much that means when you're reaching out, just letting me know, hey, been praying for you. Thank you. It's important and it's needed. We all know what we're dealing with, right? So thank you for that. Thank you, moderators, for all that you do, all that you do. I really appreciate it. So again, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Join me next time for the next session. Shalom, family.